Well, this is a great question. I mean, obviously during the pandemic, we've been privileged enough really to be working from home, and now we're also working on the book again. It's full transparency in terms of understanding. I would say that both are amazing institutions that have weathered this kind of media transformation actually incredibly well. When you think about, what the New York Times was doing 20 years ago versus the range of things it does now. The New Yorker somehow has managed to, evolve enough that, one of the ways that people tell me they read my column the most is they don't read it. They love the audio woman. I have this one, I don't know what to call her, auteur, or, the person who speaks my column. She's this wonderful woman named Julia Whelan, who has her own whole following. And many of the, even bold-faced, Washington names, they're like, oh, Julia, is she okay? She didn't read your column this week. And, so it's like an audio version of the New Yorker, who would have thought that? So both of them have struggled with evolution, but have evolved. But the difference is that, the New Yorker really remains this, kind of community and collection of writers with very disparate, very far-flung. So the culture of working from home, this is always essentially just a kind of editor-driven publication in terms of people who go to the office and then everybody else doing their thing. Peter's world, I would say, has become more and more layered, as the New York Times has become multimedia, and it's also become more actually of a wire service. When we started in journalism as newspaper reporters, both of us, Peter would file one story a day. Now, if he's like the duty person on the White House, he's, dealing with an unbelievable array of things. He's the Associated Press and Reuters and the Washington Post rolled into one, and at the end of the day, he's got Johnny Apple's old job of writing the front page analysis, and monitoring everything. And then could he please spend 2 hours out of the day to tape the daily podcast, and he's doing 3 MSNBC hits in the middle. So the ways in which, people in these publications, especially covering a high-profile beat like the presidency, are sliced and diced so thin. So for me, I feel like I've had this enormous privilege of writing this weekly letter from Washington. It's a response to the same phenomenon in our culture, right? It's a response to the overwhelming amount of information and the barrage of the news cycle, but with a totally different diagnosis, right? Is to say, okay, so I'm going to step back and I'm going to write one, 2,000 word piece a week that tries to distill and synthesize and to give you, kind of a narrative and a storyline, while poor Peter here is getting sliced and diced ever thinner.